Girl, girl, stop playing. Stop playing. That's literally how I felt, y'all. Y'all peep the thumbnail? Do you peep the thumbnail, y'all? This is a mess. Last night, I could not watch the episode without cringing at Rachel and Jose. We're definitely about to talk about it. The episode was all right, but let's go ahead and get into the blue. Hey y'all, it's Necey Dixon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, y'all, welcome back to my new subscribers. Welcome. Okay, I'm excited that some of y'all decided to go ahead and subscribe. I'm excited that I get to catch y'all on a lunchtime live. Your girl has not eaten all day. I'm hungry. I've just been working. So we're going to try to keep this live at about 30 minutes or less. And to be honest, I don't feel like the episode was it was a good episode, but I don't think that it was given enough, number one, to last 2 hours. Y'all know that. And I don't know if we're just conditioned because we sat through so much bullshit last season with Chris and Paige. So are we conditioned to the drama? Or is it that this season really isn't giving 2 hours worth of content? Because y'all don't understand. I be tempted to wait until the next day and watch the episodes on them websites, commercial free, so I could get back about a good hour of my time. But let me go ahead and say what's up to y'all in the live. Thank you, Saki, for joining. And thank you for putting the announcement up here, y'all. Be sure to tune into the Ooh Ladies First panel tonight. Tonight, we're going to be on Jamie That's Me's channel. Click the link, set your reminder. Y'all know where we'll be at 8:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's the ladies' late night show, y'all. Alicia Garcia, hey girl. We see Latoya Chantel. We see Kishwar. What's up? And like I said, Julia Jules. So, let me not forget, Carla, Mina, Kim, y'all. Like the video on your way in. Be sure to share the link for people on Twitter and all that stuff. I'm going to try to get into these regular lunchtime lives. So just so y'all know, Married at First Sight will always be reviewed at lunchtime the very next day. So y'all know to hit that notification bell. And then one other thing before we get into the review, y'all, the encore. I will be reviewing that this evening. I usually review the encore on Thursdays around 6 something. But last episode, I didn't review anything. Nothing happened. Keely decided to come to the group. So whatever, I didn't review last week. But y'all can catch me tonight around 6 something, right before the Ooh Ladies First panel. So we can go ahead and talk about that good old encore. So yeah, but today, y'all, we are talking about Rachel and Jose. Did y'all peep? Jose, I feel like he low-key exposed himself. I was hoping that I wasn't going to have to talk week after week about how I think that Jose don't like women. How he like men's, okay? I was hoping I wasn't going to have to talk about that every week, y'all, but it's glaring in my face. So for those of you who are going to get very sensitive about me discussing this man's sexuality and kind of find a way to project your issues on me, please don't continue watching. But y'all, I have to be honest with y'all. That's why I make the reviews. Jose is very much giving me that he is pretending to be a straight man. He's pretending to mirror this masculinity that he thinks is acceptable, okay? So I'm going to be real with y'all, and that's what we're going to talk about this episode. So I think the first couple that we're going to talk about, let me start from the top of my notes. The first couple we'll talk about is Johnny and Bao, y'all. And shout out to one of my subscribers, Stacy. She hit me up on Twitter and told me that I was spelling Bao's name wrong. So I updated it. So thank you for that. But Bao and Johnny, y'all. So it is after the wedding. They are back at the hotel room. When you get to the hotel room, there's like a red, Chinese silk bed sheet, and there's 100 children embroidered in the bed. And it was a gift from his sister, or a present, surprise, whatever. She basically says, there's a Chinese saying, 100 kids, 1,000 grandkids. So here's to getting started, which I thought was cute. Bao, on the other hand, I thought that she was going to be completely turned off by that. But I think it's a pleasant surprise to see that Bao is definitely softening herself up because of Johnny. I'm like, okay, this might actually work for a while. Y'all know shit is going to hit the fan eventually, but it might actually work. So they're laying on the bed, they're holding hands, and it seems like, things are going to be good. So the very next day, they wake up next to each other, and Bao says to him, "Do you remember our last conversation that we had with each other?" And he was like, "No, I don't remember." And she was like, "Well, we were supposed to go on a date, blah, blah, blah." And Bao is she's such a perfectionist. Let me grab my dog, y'all, because I can barely think for hearing him lick his paws. 1 second. Okay, now I can focus. So anyway, Bao is such a perfectionist, so anal. She never deletes any of her text messages. She actually has the last text messages between her and Johnny. And this is where I was like, oh, this is cute because we can see two people that already knew each other. And she reveals that they were discussing going on a date. She said that she liked to go to a museum. Johnny offered to go, but then she said he ghosted her. So I was like, wait, did he ghost you or did he send the last text message? Either way it goes, it seems like back in the day, Johnny might have been an F-boy. But Bao, she continued to have a crush on him, and the universe aligned and had their paths crossed. So I thought that was really cute. The next topic we'll talk about with Johnny and Bao is family, y'all. This episode, all of the couples also met the in-laws. So Johnny meets with Bao's brothers, and they greet him. They start talking about how the gift that he left was, a sports gift, and how Bao was about to have a complete meltdown right before the wedding because she wanted a brilliant mind. She wanted a Nobel Prize. I was like, damn, girl, you were tripping. And in that moment when Bao was tripping over the sports, that's when I felt like I would not like her. It's funny because when Bao is by herself, I'm like, I don't really like her. But then whenever she's with Johnny, I'm all for it. I like her. I like Johnny. I like her and Johnny together. Bao on her own being so anal and uptight about things, I'm like, I don't like Bao. Johnny on his own, he's cool. But the way that he describes his past relationships, I'm like, Johnny. Then you get them together and I'm like, oh, y'all did something here. So I like the two of them together. So what else? Okay, the recommendations that Bao's family gives Johnny is that he has to have patience. And Johnny lightweight exposes himself a little bit too. And he says that in the past or in his past relationships, and this is what I'm talking about, y'all, where I'm like, he said that he's always thinking about what's next. And basically, I think it was Bao's sister-in-law, her sister, and was like, how do you think that this is going to work if you're used to always thinking about what's next? So part of me, thank you for the super chat, Vanessa. Vanessa says 100%. Zach is also pulling a Jose. We're going to talk about that, Vanessa. We're going to talk about it. So either way, y'all, Johnny is a serial dater, and my concern is that if he doesn't get what he wants from Bao, which is all the affection he needs, is he truly going to carry all that patience across the 8 weeks? Or is he going to be like, you know what? I'm over it. Y'all tell me what y'all think. He definitely explained to her in the bedroom. Did I get to that part? Yeah. He explains to her later on in the bedroom that he just wants to be patient with her. And it was just so sweet, so loving. It was given very much a walk to remember, where the guy was just so patient and loving with the girl. That's what Johnny was given, Johnny and Bao. And y'all know a walk to remember. The girl is real nerdy. And then you get the guy who's real popular and cool. And he's telling her like, hey, I really like you. I'm going to be patient with you the whole way. That's what I was getting from them in that scene. On the other hand, y'all, before we talk about them laying in the bed and having a sexual discussion, Bao meets Johnny's family. She's immediately welcomed by his mom, and she says, you can call me mom. And, they start joking about kids. Bao kind of has a cringe face about the whole situation. Don't really know why. I wanted her to say in that moment, I don't want kids, or I don't want kids for another 5 to 10 years. I wanted to find out what it was. So I couldn't tell if her face was cringed up because she was talking about Johnny being a Mr. Mom and staying at home, or if her face was cringed up because she didn't want any kids. So y'all tell me what y'all think. Latoya says, I think Johnny gonna give her a little time because you can tell that he's been wanting Miss Val. He has, but something about Johnny, okay? People who are so smooth and so charismatic, I'm kind of a little bit cautious of, and especially in combination with Johnny saying that he's always thinking about what's next. It's easy for Johnny to get into relationships or, find people that he gets along with. So I'm really trying to find out like what's gonna be the major flaw. With Val, I definitely know that her flaw is that she's so anal. Johnny, he definitely wants to be smothered, but something's gonna happen, and I feel like Johnny's gonna make me look at him a little bit differently. So who knows, y'all? So now, y'all, Johnny ends up telling Bao about his dad. And she comforts him in that situation and basically says, hey, I'm good with dads. I'll speak to him in Vietnamese. I'll do this and I'll do that. Eventually, I do think that Johnny's dad is going to come around. I think it's also going to help that he knows Bao. And then on top of that, they're from the same culture. So I think that that's definitely going to help a lot. And I love how Bao was really supportive in that situation. So it's honeymoon time, y'all. And Bao actually had an entire spreadsheet just to pack. Now, I said on Twitter, if y'all aren't following me on Twitter, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Necey Dixon. I wonder if I'm worse than Bao or if they're just exaggerating the whole Excel situation. Because when I looked at Bao's packing list, her Excel spreadsheet wasn't formulated. It was just a regular list. She just used Excel instead of writing down, on pen and paper what she needs to pack. So I was like, y'all are kind of boosting. Anyway, it is time for them to go to bed. They're in the Florida Keys. And Bao says to Johnny, remember, y'all, it's 2 beds anytime it's a honeymoon suite. And Bao says to Johnny, well, why don't you sleep in the other bed? And I was like, excuse me, Bao, that's your whole husband. Do not block this man from laying up with his wife. Now, when I say laying up, you ain't got to bust it open and do everything else. But really, that's your husband. Don't treat him like a stranger, y'all. That's like the number one flaw that everyone gets into when they get on the show. They get on the show and they say, but he's a stranger, Mirla. But he's a stranger, Karen from New Orleans. But he's a stranger. It's not going to work if you think like that. You have to go in thinking that that's your husband. I don't know if these people never seen the show before, but y'all should know what it takes to make some of this stuff work. So anyway, Johnny says, I was going to lay in the bed with you. And Bao says, well, I just didn't want to be the reason why you didn't get any sleep. So, but Johnny doesn't give up, even though Bao is showing a little bit of resistance. And he says to her, I want to be patient with you. I want to be your best friend first. So if any point in time you don't feel comfortable, just let me know. And that's what I'm talking about, y'all. That was like the walk to remember conversation. The hey, I got you. The cool guy was like, hey, calm down, right? So then after she says she really appreciates it, and they're still close, they're cuddling, he says, so what are you into as far as sex? And whenever Bao starts talking about it, she says she really reads into kisses, and she can tell that by the way that Johnny kisses, that he will be an excellent lover. And then on the flip side, Bao asks Johnny what he is into. He says pretty vanilla sex. And when he said vanilla, I was thinking about what is the couple, y'all, with the red hair from seasons ago? The girl had red hair and the guy was bald. And you remember she got mad at him and she was like, I'm just so tired of having Caucasian sex. That's what I was thinking Johnny was talking about whenever he said vanilla. I was like, are you talking about Caucasian sex? But no, he doesn't like to do any of, the weird stuff. And that includes backdooring. So I don't know, y'all. Julia says that they are not going to last. Y'all, thank you, Diana. Elizabeth, that's who I'm talking about whenever I said Caucasian sex. Jamie and Beth, yes, that was their names. Thank y'all. But that's what I was thinking about whenever he said vanilla sex. So anyway, y'all, Bao and Johnny, I truly don't know. I feel like as long as Bao continues to be soft, continues to, not change who she is and, present herself 100% authentically, similar to how Brett is doing, I think that they might be able to make it, but I think it's going to be a lot of turbulence along the way. And that's also why I'm a little nervous, because I feel like, what if Bao does what needs to be done, and then we find out that Johnny exposes himself and he does something to mess it all up? So that's why I'm also a little bit nervous. But all in all, y'all, I guess we gonna see. I don't remember what my prediction was in my first video. So what we definitely will do at the end of the season is I'll probably go back and pull my first video where I gave my predictions and compare it to where we're at the end of the season, which I think is going to be super cute. It's going to be funny. So y'all, let's go ahead and move into... Y'all want to talk about Rachel and Jose? Girl, that's not your man. Girl, don't you know that you are a check mark in a box for Jose? That's how I'm feeling, y'all. I feel like Jose is such a perfectionist in life that he knows that one of his major flaws, y'all pay attention to the fingers, flaws, because I'm not saying it's anything wrong with a man not being masculine, but for a man to be seen as feminine in society is not seen as the right way. Jose knows that that's his flaw. For him to know that that's his flaw, and for him to also be a perfectionist, Rachel is a check mark in a box. He needs a wife. You got 2 houses, you got a degree, you got this, you got that, you debt free, but why don't you have a woman? So that's definitely what he's trying to do, y'all. And I'm going to say the extras did a good job matching them, because what I feel like is Rachel wants somebody so bad that she'll accept a man who's her best friend and not her man, in order to have a husband, someone who will accept her. And I think that Jose will end up being a little bit more accepting of her, because, Saki, this is so funny. Saki said, girl, you've been in the South for a little too long. I don't think he's playing for the other team. Do y'all really think Y'all tell me in the comments. Y'all tell me in the comments if y'all think that Jose is into women. This is the reason why I'm going to say I don't think so. And we can start off with the beginning. In the first thing, y'all, at first I was saying that I thought that Jose was a little bit feminine. I didn't want to say the man straight up didn't like women. I still can't claim that, but that's what I feel. That's my opinion. This is what he did in the beginning. He's in the honeymoon, well, not the honeymoon suite. He's at the hotel after the wedding, okay? And they end up asking him, what are you going to do tonight if Rachel wants to have sex? And he says, well, of course I would take the offer, because if I don't, that's my wife, and that wouldn't be masculine. Why are you operating on the basis of what you think will be masculine and what wouldn't be masculine? So you feel like you have to have sex with this woman because she's a woman and because she's your wife? No, like, I don't think that a man wanting to have sex or not wanting to have sex determines his masculinity. And then the other thing that I think is a little bit questionable is the way that his stepmom talked to Rachel last episode. She really was making sexual suggestions, like, girl, go ahead and have sex with him. And I feel like Jose knows that his family wants him to prove masculinity. They want him to prove that he's straight, which is why his stepmom was so comfortable joking about sex, because they feel like, have sex with this man, then we'll know he's straight. Then when he made the comment and said he couldn't reject his wife, I was just like, really? And y'all, it's not even on the basis of the way he dresses, the way his beard is trimmed, the way that he keeps up with his hygiene. None of that to me says you're gay or straight. None of that does. But it's just some of the things that I'm picking up between the lines that's making me think that it's something that's a little bit off. Even when it came down to Jose saying that he had a little bit of insecurities about her potentially not liking him, Jose said that it was because of his forehead and his nose. No, It's not. It's not why. It's because you are probably operating and knowing based off your experience that women typically are not attracted to you because you are feminine. So y'all, really the two leading things that we're gonna take away from this is Jose's stepmom basically trying to put sex off on him so he could prove his masculinity. And Jose making a comment out of his own mouth that it wouldn't be masculine for him to reject his wife. So that was weird. So y'all, the next day, they're kissing all day and night, which I think that's another thing where I feel like he's trying to prove something. I haven't seen the connection, y'all. Y'all tell me if y'all have seen the connection between Rachel and Jose. I have not. They're being overly kissy, overly touchy, and I'm like, they're giving me friend vibes. Something ain't adding up. And I think Jose is operating as if he needs to prove something. So the next day, y'all, they're talking, and Rachel says that she feels like he's perfect for her and that she didn't want anyone to make her change, which is why I think the experts did a good job pairing them together, because I don't think Rachel's going to look at him and say, oh, he's not masculine enough, because she just wants to have somebody so bad that somebody who's even going to be her best friend throughout this process is good enough for her, as long as it's someone who says, Rachel, I accept you for who you are. Rachel, you're perfect. Someone who offsets her insecurities is going to be perfect for her. And that just happens to be Jose in this moment. So now, y'all, it's time for them to meet the families. Jose meets with Rachel's friend. And this is the friend that Jamie keeps saying, Jamie, that's me, y'all. She keeps saying that she's side-eyeing the friend because the friend keeps making all these faces, and her mom. So he shows up, he's ranting about Rachel being so perfect. Her mom and her friend is kind of just like, okay, sure. You gonna see. Which I think is why Rachel's friend keeps looking like, making all these side eyes like, wait till you find out her flaws. So what her mom and her friend keep saying basically is that, she's not perfect. She's actually very messy. She's gotten very far in her life, but she's messy. And Jose is triggered because he's a perfectionist. Another thing that her friend calls out is that whenever Rachel gets upset, she won't necessarily say, hey, I'm upset. What she'll say is, mental note. So y'all pay attention to that. I'm sure this season, instead of her, she probably won't even feel comfortable telling people that she's upset because she's so insecure. She's so timid. Something about Rachel, in my opinion, gives me the vibes that she just wants to be accepted. And she doesn't want to cause any friction. So we're going to see, she's going to let Jose do all the crazy stuff that he typically does. And she's probably not going to say much. It's probably going to take a lot for her to actually tell Jose, I don't like that you're doing X, Y, Z. So we'll see about that, y'all. Now it's time for Rachel to meet with Jose's family. And really what they end up talking about is that he just has an extremely structured personality. It is so bad to the point that he has, dry erase boards in the home where he calculates every single bill. And I'm like, okay, we get it. We get that Jose is a perfectionist. But all in all, they really didn't say too much. Now it's time for the honeymoon, y'all. And Jose is already telling Rachel how she should be brushing her damn teeth. And he even wanted to brush her teeth for her. So it's starting out real slow, y'all. But I think we're going to see it pick up. A lot of y'all are saying that her friend is jealous. Latoya says she's jealous because she lost weight. I think her friend is jealous, but I also feel like you can tell. You can tell by looking at the friends what they think of the person on the show. So I'm saying, like, for example, when Rachel was around all her bridesmaids, you could tell the bridesmaids were kind of looking at each other like, you can kind of tell that Rachel has in the past been the fool of the group. And when I say the fool, I mean maybe her relationships didn't work out well in the past, or maybe there were red flags that they told her about that she didn't want to listen to, which is why before Rachel went down the aisle, she ended up saying, if you see any red flags, don't tell me. Don't tell me until, unless it's something very big. So I think Rachel has kind of been the fool in the group, and her friend probably talks about her in depth to her other friends. You know who else was like that? Somebody else's friend group was like that too. I can't remember. Maybe I'll remember as we go on. But yeah, Rachel and Jose, absolutely not going to work. I think Rachel's going to do everything she can to keep up with this man. I'm just like, oh, I cannot. Okay. So I think it's time to move on to the next couple. Let's move on to Bougie Ougie, Mirla. Okay. I saw a tweet on Twitter last night where I saw people say that, yes, Shani, thank you. It was Mirla's friend group. That's exactly what it was. Okay, so I was telling y'all how you can tell whenever somebody is the fool of the group, and you can kind of tell how their friends look or how they look at each other and the camera's catching it, or they're asking their friends certain question because they're like, we know you a damn fool, we know you gonna do this. And that's what I got with Mirla. Down to the first episode, y'all, whenever Mirla told her friends that she was getting married at first sight, her friends was kind of like, oh, okay. Mirla gives me the vibe that she is so high maintenance that she can't find anyone that she thinks is of her level. And y'all all know somebody like that. Y'all all know somebody who has an imaginary man in their mind, but they are so difficult that you know that your friend can't keep a man. Keep a man, as if that's real. But you know your friend can't keep a man. And that's what Mirla's friends were giving. So y'all pay attention to the friends. So now y'all, Mirla and Gil, this is after the wedding. They are in the hotel right after the wedding. And, they start talking about their dads. And this is where we find out we knew that Gil's dad was murdered, but I didn't know that Mirla's dad was murdered as well. So that was very odd, very eerie, because whenever Gil was like, yeah, my dad died in a tragic way too, Mirla said, how? And he says he was murdered. And Mirla just goes, like, she just smiled, but she smiled because she's found a way to remove herself temporarily from all that heartbreak, right? To kind of appreciate that somebody finally understands what she's going through. So Gil ends up explaining what happened to his dad. We know that there was a break-in in the home, but whenever he really explained what happened from like his eyes at 14 years old, I was like, oh my gosh, that was extremely sad. So yeah, he asked her to tell her story and what happened with her father, and she didn't want to talk about it at that moment in time. So they decided to go to sleep. And whenever they get ready to go to sleep, he says, do you want a foot rub? And she says, not gonna happen. Karen. Okay, y'all. I think that Mirla is the Karen from New Orleans of Houston. But the reason why I think that she's worse than Karen is because Karen wasn't as bougie and high maintenance. Karen was just stuck in this he's a stranger mindset, and that was that. Karen and Miles are fine now, but I feel like Karen was so boring and so unlikable on the show because she was doing a lot of stunting for the cameras. I don't understand why people sign up for these shows. You know you're going to get filmed. You know your friends and family are going to watch you start this marriage with somebody on TV, and you don't want to talk about sex. You don't want to be intimate. You don't want to kiss. You don't want to hug. That's what Karen was on. And this is what Mirla's on. The only difference is I think that Mirla is this way regardless of if the cameras are around or not. So that's why I think that she's definitely worse than Karen. So now, y'all, it's the next day. Mirla says that waking up to him surprisingly feels normal. Gil was excited just to see what she looked like when she woke up. And she basically looks the same, y'all. Now, somebody made a really funny comment on my last video, and I have not forgotten, y'all. We already talked about Mirla selling her dress. The dress cost her $10,000. It's a Bertha dress, and Bertha costs money, y'all. But somebody was like, girl, why are you wearing a $10,000 dress down the aisle and you ain't got a lick of makeup on? And I thought that was hilarious because she really didn't have any makeup on, but it's definitely on brand with somebody who thinks that they're very just like real sedity, like I don't need no makeup type stuff. But the good thing is, y'all, I will say Mirla looks the same when she wakes up. She looked very pretty. I think that's probably one of the best compliments I can give her, because outside of that, I don't have anything else to say. I don't know anything else about Mirla to say that's actually really good, because she is I think, working everybody's damn nerves. So the next day, she ends up telling Gil what happened with her father. And the story that both stories are traumatic as hell, but the story she told was wild. So basically, what had happened was her half sister said that Mirla's dad was harassing her. She invited her stepfather, Mirla's dad, over to the house. Her half sister's husband walks in the home, ends up stabbing her dad to death. They wrap him up in a rug, dump his body somewhere. Okay. And I should have called out a trigger warning. So, if any of my mods, if y'all are in the chat, please time mark that and make sure that y'all add a trigger warning for those people who don't even want to hear about that. But anyway, the story was real sad. But whenever she said harassing, y'all, I couldn't quite understand if her dad was harassing the stepdaughter or if the stepdaughter was having an affair with the dad. I don't know. But some of it, I was like, this sounds weird. And I want to know why he went over to the house when her stepsister's husband wasn't home. Like, did he catch her cheating? Like, what was going on? It was kind of weird. But yes, it definitely sounded like something that was on ID channel, regardless of, the theatrics and the mess that actually happened. I think it was a super sad situation. So now, y'all, it's time to meet the family. Gil ends up meeting Mirla's friends and her brother, which is all guys. So Gil was really feeling like, oh, this is easy. This is going to be the guys. And he actually said that. And the guys were straight up just like, nah. One thing I want to say is Mirla's friend thank you, Nana. Let me call that out. I had the story flipped. I thought that was her stepsister in my mind, even though I said half sister. So I don't understand what was going on. But thank you for that, Nana. So anyway, y'all, one of the things I noticed whenever Gil was eating with Mirla's family, one of her friends, I feel like she should have ended up marrying him. He said that really they've been friends for 10 years. And after the passing of her father, she's kind of turned into a little sister. But if you think about it, he was brown skinned. He had a beard. He had hair on his head. He's already in the protector mode of you. I'm like, why ain't that your man? Why haven't y'all ever tried to date? Because it definitely seemed like if he could put up with you as a friend, then I don't see why you wouldn't try to date him. He sounded like your type. So anyway, where we at? Yeah, why didn't she marry the friend? And then Gil ends up talking to her family a little bit about finances. So that's going to be something that we keep bringing up. And basically, Mirla's brother is like, hey, my sister's good on money. My sister don't need a man, but she wants a man. So just so you know, she saves enough money at the end so she can do whatever she want to do with her money. So I feel like they're in the mindset of as long as Mirla's bills are taken care of, as long as she's saving money, whatever she wants to flex and splurge her money on, that's on her. Y'all know, I kind of agree with that. However, now that you're married, I think y'all should have a different outlook on finances. I don't think that Gil doesn't want Mirla to enjoy the finer things in life. I think he just wants to really sit back and make sure that they're on the same page about what exactly they're spending money on. So I think it's just two different ways. It's two different ways to look at it. Now, y'all, we get to Mirla. Mirla meets with Gil's two friends. And that's another one where I was like, you know what? That girl sitting there is beautiful. Gil's friend was really beautiful. And I was like, damn, why did he date her? It's so many people, season after season, whenever you meet with the friends, I'm like, why aren't y'all just dating these people? Y'all seem to know each other so well. These people seem to be physically what your type is. What's going on? Anyway, Mirla, she shows up. And she's definitely in a mood, it seems like. She feels like being real complainer type mode. What she learns about Gil is that he's authentic, he's loyal, he's passionate. And Gil's friend specifically said that if your words don't match your actions, he's not afraid to call that out. Mirla says she's moody. She's complaining, talking about, oh no, I have someone to come clean my house. I don't like dogs. I don't do this. I don't do that. I don't really have very much good to say about Mirla, and I wish I did, other than Mirla was pretty. But how far does that go? Looks fade, beauty fades, okay? So now they get to the honeymoon, and Mirla is complaining again. She says it looks like a senior citizen home. She's complaining about the view. Mirla, the reason why you probably spent $10,000 on that dress is because the wedding was paid for. The wedding was paid for. The honeymoon is paid for. You can go throw me up in a senior citizen home with a pool view for my honeymoon if it's free. Just go on another one after the fact. I'm just like, why are you complaining? It was too much. Now, Shani, I get what you're saying. It definitely did give senior citizen resort, but like One Love Shar says, it's free. Your wedding was paid for. Just redo it after the fact. It just makes you look like a bad sport when you're on here complaining. What's up, J-Dub? But that's all I have to say about Mirla. She's the complainer, y'all, and I don't know if I can take a whole season of it. I really hope that Gil, what's going to happen is Gil's going to have to be patient with her. Down to him talking about, do you want to eat a salad? She was like, I don't eat salads all the time. I want Gil to find a point to where he's going to draw the line in the sand. There has to be some point, Gil. You're such a nice guy. You're so patient. You're so kind, which is why they paired you with Mirla. But there has to be a point in time to where you say, you know what? This ain't for me. And I hope that you are woke enough to know that Mirla probably is not the one for you. And I feel like Mirla is probably not the one for many people, which is why she's so successful. She's so pretty and she's single. It's something going on. So now, y'all, we are going to move on to Ryan and Brett. So Brett is, getting ready for the night, and she ends up saying that she feels like Ryan is the person that she didn't know that she needed. They end up kissing goodnight. He also talks about, how pretty she is and how much he likes her and blah, 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 blah. And I feel like, y'all, I don't know. Is this a good match? I truly don't know. I feel like Ryan is all in it. But there's something about Brett to me sometimes that feels like she's a little bit repulsed by Ryan. Sometimes it feels like she's not going to be on the same page as Ryan. But then other times she talks about how she likes him, which is why I feel like it makes sense that she said, I feel like Ryan is the person I didn't know I needed. She probably wouldn't have chose him herself. And I don't think that Ryan would have chose Brett either, because this man will not stop talking about the damn red hair. So y'all, it's time for the families to meet up, right? And Ryan ends up meeting with Brett's family first. And this is where I start to look at Ryan like, boy, I don't know. Are you missing marbles? He says, oh, but before I say that, y'all, Brett is definitely her daddy's daughter. You your daddy's daughter. Hey, she looks exactly like her dad. Her dad is a handsome white bearded man. He looked like Mr. Clean. Okay. Her dad's very handsome, but she looked just like her dad. And whenever he shows up, they say, do you have any questions for us? And he flat out said no. You've been married less than 24 hours. You don't know Brett, but you don't want to take the opportunity to get to know her with her parents. Like, Ryan, you got to be a little bit smarter than that. And Brett's dad said, what did you think about Ryan? Or about Brett? Their names confuse me, y'all. And instead of Ryan going straight to, oh, I think she's sweet, I think she's this, I think she's that, he says, redheads, either they're beautiful or not. I was like, sir, what? Yes, definitely. It's something about Ryan that's a little bit off. Saki, thank you for holding it down. 54 likes, 113 people watching. Don't stop. Like the video, y'all. Anyway, I thought that was wild that he's still talking about this redhead comment. They're beautiful or they're not. I was like, this is a little bit odd. At this point in time, episode 4, I'm going to say that they're not going to work. I don't see it. So now Brett meets up with Ryan's family, and Ryan's family is just a little bit taken aback because they're not used to Ryan dating girls that have any brain. Basically, his sister says that they're all just props, they're all potatoes, and they all pretty much look the same. His friend is super excited about Brett because he feels like they were matched because Brett has a lot of qualities that he's missing, that she's beautiful, but she also is very smart, and that she can also open him and, crack his shell open. She said she's never had to crack a shell open before. So I think that Ryan's going to be a little weird, y'all. I think Ryan's going to be weird on top of him being introverted. And I think that Brett is going to get frustrated and that she's going to give up because she's going to have to feel like she's putting in more work. I think that's what's going to happen, okay? So Brett ends up saying that she just wants to be her authentic self just so she, presents who she is from the very beginning. Regardless of her doing that, I don't think it's going to work. Now it's time for the honeymoon. Brett ends up saying that she was really nervous to fly. Ryan continues to be very awkward and not necessarily say the right things. I don't feel like he said very much to comfort her, but Brett felt like just by him being around that was good enough for her, and it really got her over her fear because he likes to travel a lot. So we'll see where that goes. But Ryan and Brett, I feel like, is definitely the sleeper couple. This is going to be the couple that everybody sleep on by the end of the season. So we'll get on to our last couple, which is Michaela and Zachary. So we got a super chat earlier, and I think it was from Vanessa. She said that she thinks that Zach is pulling the same thing as Jose. And by that, what she's saying is she thinks that Zach don't like women, that Zach is into the men's. I've heard that before. I don't see it, y'all. I don't see it with Zach. I don't see it with Zach. I feel like the reason why Zach hasn't dated as much is because he's very nerdy. And I think because in his early adulthood, very early adulthood, he probably didn't have that much experience dating. So now that he's 27 years old, he's wanting to jump from inexperience and romanticizing marriage to boom, just becoming a husband, in my opinion. But the more I look at his red hair, I'm like, I don't know. It seems like a lot of y'all are saying that. Jewel Cray says Zach isn't feeling Michaela. You don't think so? What did I miss? You let me know why. So y'all, they get back to the hotel room. They're all giggles. He throws her on the bed, and it seems like, they're having a good time. It's all happy. He says that he's very, very happy with Michaela. He gasses her up, talking about how, the day was stressful, but it couldn't have been better. And he really is just doing all this, looking at her. She changes into her pajamas, and he says, oh, I didn't see all this in the PJs. And I'm like, oh, y'all are, something about Michaela and Zack to me are super cute. It seems like they've known each other for a long time, like they've been together for a long time. But in the same breath, it also scares me because they seem so passionate over nothing. It's been less than 24 hours. They seem so passionate and into each other that same level of passion, when Hurricane K comes, it's going to be wild, y'all. So I can't wait to see that because Michaela's going to lose her mind. So y'all, it's the next day. And he's asking her, why'd you get married at first sight? Michaela says it's because typically she doesn't speak up on issues in relationships. She goes into, just indifference, like, whatever. You doing that? I'm going to do this too. So she really wanted to break that habit and commit to something like a marriage. Zach says, oh, you sound like me, which is kind of scary. We got to be cautious, y'all. If both of them allow things to build up and build up and build up and they aren't saying anything, then once they blow up, y'all, it's going to be a blow up. Then they go on to talking about jealousy. Zach says that he's not jealous. Michaela says she's possessive. Y'all, Michaela is jealous. And Michaela is a little bit more than possessive, which is why I think in the preview, she's asking Zach where he was. And she also thinks that this man is just so damn fine that I feel like she's going to always try to keep an eye on what he has going on. So I'm like, I don't know, y'all. So now it's time for them to meet with the families. Zach meets up with her sisters, and Michaela's sisters was kind of getting on my nerves, especially that middle one, y'all. The middle one said something to him at the end of the conversation along the lines of, well, you say all this, so I hope we can see it. And I think that was the same sister that was like, do you know how old your wife is? They're only 3 years apart. And that's the same sister that I feel like was like, why should we trust you? And in my opinion, y'all, I hate when they do this. Parents, family, friends, these two signed up for the same show. They took the same risk by marrying a stranger. So I'm just like, y'all be doing too much. Anyway, he says that he's enjoying her. Her sisters really like that. They really love to see that she potentially found someone who cares about her as much as they do, but they just want to make sure that he's going to be a protector. Now, on the other side of things, Michaela meets with Zack's family, and y'all, were y'all peeping Zack's mom? Zack's mom, I feel like she sees how much Michaela is excited, how much Michaela is obsessed, and how gorgeous that she thinks her son is. But I think Zack's mom is still like, I'm not believing everything that you're giving us right now. So time will tell. Michaela was doing all this hyping up, talking about how they raised a good man. The dad was all for it. The dad loves Michaela. But Zack's mom was pretty much just like, we'll see how this goes. So they end up saying that he's spoiled. He's loyal. He's great with kids. And especially when Michaela started talking about, oh, he could have 5 kids. Like, she's been talking about kids since she saw him at the end of the altar, y'all. And that's when Zack's mom is really just like, okay. So that's what's been going on. Then they even talk about the father-daughter dance, y'all. So they show a clip, and apparently Michaela, the DJ, was just like, okay, time for the father-daughter dance. I was like, married at first sight. Y'all know good and well Michaela's dad is not here. Who didn't coordinate this with the DJ? Nana, you hit that one on the head. She says Michaela is lusting for him. I think so too. So why didn't y'all coordinate with that with the DJ? I just felt bad for Michaela. They put her in an awkward situation. Zack's dad ended up dancing with her, and I thought it was sweet. I almost started damn near crying because I was like, that is sad, super sad that y'all would put her on the spot like that. So yeah, like I said, the mom was dry faced, and that was pretty much it. So Michaela, like I said, just like all the other Black queens before Michaela, she leaves after the night of the wedding to go get some box braids before they go on this honeymoon. Because y'all know how Black women are about their hair. So she takes the path most traveled by all the Black queens before her. So yeah, she does that, gets box braids. Then they discuss how they ended up having sex. Zack says that if every single night went like it did last night, then he definitely was going to die a happy man sexually. So good for them. Now we get to the honeymoon. Zack is sick. They can't sleep in the same bed. I hope this man don't got the vid. And yeah, everybody's in Florida Keys. So the episode was cool. I feel like we're starting to learn more about people, and people are getting closer to showing their ass, which y'all know that is the best part of the show, whenever people start showing their ass. But let's see what y'all are talking about in the comments. I hope y'all like the video. For those of y'all who are joining the live late, I gave a couple announcements, y'all. Tonight, we are going to be on Jamie That's Me's channel for the Ooh Ladies First panel, where we give a mega review of all the shows that have happened in the past week. We also talk about celebrity hot topics and just regular fun stuff. Y'all know I like to play my Marry, Fuck, Kill game. So I can't wait to see what the night is going to be like. So y'all join us on Jamie That's Me channel at 8:15 Central Standard Time. The other thing that I wanted to announce, y'all, is that I will be back around 6:30, 6:45 p.m. to review The Encore. I still got to watch that episode, but we're going to talk about that tonight, y'all. So be sure to like the video up, hit the links in my description box, comment, subscribe, share the video, and, I'll see y'all on the next one. I got to get some food before my next meeting. Bye.